Hey there and welcome to Matt's Garage. Also welcome to the inside of my 2004 PT Cruiser, which I'm going to be replacing the ignition switch on today. The tools that you're going to need to do this job are a Phillips number 2 screwdriver, Torx 20 screwdriver, T20, and this is a Torx 10, but it's a tamper-proof screw. So you need a tamper-proof bit. It's got the hole in the center. You absolutely need that. So if you don't have that, go get that before you get started. You also need a 10mm wrench for your battery terminal. That's the new unit I got. And it looks just like that. So it looks like we're going to have to get the cover off here. Just going to need a Phillips number 2 screwdriver to start with, and you take out those screws. But before you actually do that, I highly recommend you disconnect your negative battery cable first. You could probably do this job without disconnecting it, but it's a little risky, especially with an airbag here and everything. You don't want to mess around with that. So we're going to go ahead and just disconnect the negative battery cable. So to disconnect a negative cable, you just have to lift the lid off the air box here. So just a couple of spring clips there. And then you just lift the front and slide it back. There's little tabs it catches on at the back. And you can just swing this whole thing to the side like that. There's your negative cable right there. It's 10mm. Make sure you don't short your wrench in between the two terminals. There we go. So you just tuck that down there so it doesn't contact back on there, and we can proceed with our ignition switch change. Okay, battery's disconnected, so we're getting started here. Screws are way up in there. There's one. And another one over on this side here. I think that's it, if I remember right. I think it's just 2. There, so it fell. That's just clipped together at the back, so just gotta squeeze in on it and it'll pop out. And you gotta pull the tilt lever down just to give you a little clearance to get that cover out because of the notch over here. The upper cover off as well. Here we go. This is the ignition switch, and it's actually below the multifunction switch. It kind of looks like I might have to remove that multifunction switch, but we'll see. I'm just going to take a couple wet wipes here and just wipe all these dust bunnies out of my way. I always clean things like this up before I put them back together anyway, so it just makes it easier next time you got to go in there for something. I do have a video on replacing this multi-function switch, so I'll link that in the description just in case you ever have a need. So the screws up on top that hold the multi-function switch down are T20, and just get those out quick. I'm not going to unplug the multi-function switch. It looks like I just got to lift it up out of the way is all. So one there and one over here. There, those 2 screws out. I think yeah, that lifts right up now. You can see there's a little Torx screw right there. So this thing wants to keep falling down in my way here. I'm just gonna jam something under it. There we go, that'll hold it up out of my way. So you'll need a set of bits like this with the holes in the center to get at that screw. Now I'll just figure out what size that is here. So that is a T10 screw there, and as I said, it's a tamper-proof screw, so you need a bit with a hole in the center of it. Just make sure you have the right size Torx bit, because the size under normally will grab in the screw, but then it will strip the screw. So what I always do is I find the size that I think it is, but then I'll go to the next size and just make sure that it doesn't fit. So there, that little guy's out. Quite a long one. going to have a look at the new part here for clues that has any kind of a clip-in deal or anything. Oh, okay. I think I got her there. Yeah, it clips. And you want to be real careful as you pull it away because there's that plastic rod sticking out there, you can see. I don't think you'd want to break that off. There isn't much room on these wires. I thought I'd have more room when I got it out. There we go. So just use a flat blade screwdriver to get under that red clip here. You can snap it up with your thumb once you get it started. Sometimes you can just get in with your thumb if you got strong thumbs. There, that just pulls off. I'm a little bit wondering why my new one has a plug that my old one doesn't. The plug there's the same. You can see it's got the same connections. My car is an automatic, so I'm really confused by this. But I guess some years didn't have that. Well, your car may or may not have that connector. I guess I'm going to try and install this part on my car because that's the one I ordered for it. And I'm guessing it'll still work the same as long as that's just not connected. There's nothing to connect it to. So, okay, so you do not need to have it turned on. I thought you might need it in the on position to get this out as like a theft deterrent, but apparently you don't because the new switch is set for the off position. So I'm just going to cycle my key to off, and I think I'll take my key out. We're going to try and clip this new one in. Make sure that's latched on there, then put your retainer back down. You got to be real careful not to break off that plastic piece as you feed this in there. You get it lined up on those clips. Start it on them, but maybe I'll jiggle the key. There we go, that did it. So yeah, if it doesn't line up right away, just try jiggling your key. So now we're going to stick that screw back in. You want to have this one tightened down really firmly because this one isn't actually what holds the switch in, it's actually what grounds the switch. So this is an electrical connection. Just make sure it's snug so that you have a good connection there. Now it would probably be wise at this point to hook up the battery and test the car, or at least after you put the multifunction switch back down. I'd probably do that first. But in my case, I'm just going to gamble on it and put everything back together and hope it works. It's pretty easy to take apart again if it doesn't. There we go, back in place. You just want to be careful starting these screws into aluminum because these fine thread screws, you can cross thread them if you're not careful. So just if you're unsure, just back it off and spin it backwards in the hole for a second, and normally that'll line up the threads and then you can thread it right in. I just like to snug them both down, and then I'll go back and tighten them both just so there isn't a bunch of pressure on one side. Make sure it gets seated down proper. There we go. That's back on, and now it's just put the cover back. Just gonna wipe out the cover nicely here with my wet wipes. Upper cover just sits there, couldn't be easier. Now from this side you'll get a better view of how I snake that around the tilt lever there. Oh, I need to take my key out. There we go. And you snap it together at the back. And put your two screws back in. There we go, just like that, the install's done. I'm just going to reconnect the battery cable and I'll show you it in action. Okay, moment of truth. Does it work or not? Well, the key dinger works. Yeah, seems to work. Thanks a lot for watching Matt's Garage. I hope you found the video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.